Welcome to the Jour Village Show and Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. DeShonda Jennings, and I'm honored to guide you through conversations that celebrate the power of community, collaboration, and legacy building. On this show, we highlight real life stories from entrepreneurs, childcare professionals, parents, and leaders who are proving every day that growth happens when we lean on each other. You'll hear practical strategies, inspiring testimonies, and the kind of wisdom that can shift your mindset and move your mission forward. If you're building a business, leading in your community, or simply striving to make a difference, this show was made with you in mind. Welcome to the village, and let's begin. Hello. Welcome to today's segment of It Takes a Village. Today we're calling our show Parenting with Purpose. I am so excited to invite one of my guests. Her name is Leah Hazerwood. I'm going to let her tell a little bit more about who she is. But I want to welcome all my parents that's watching this show. Every parenting journey is unique. Remember, your story has the power to encourage another family. There are no right or wrong answers when it comes to parenting. So without further ado, let me go ahead and welcome my first guest. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. Hi. Good evening.
Yes. Thank you for joining. Before we get started, I want you to tell the audience a little bit about who you are. What do you do?
Well, my name is Laiah Hazelwood. I go by Leah or Layla. Different family members call me different things. I'm the founder of Nurse My Way, a nursing concierge business, and I'm a mom of three boys, and I also have a childcare business.
Okay, so y'all listen now. Tune in now. I don't know. Before I jump into these questions, I want to make sure that my audience understand who she are. Are you single mom? You don't mind me asking?
Yes, I'm single.
Okay, so she is a single mom with three boys, a nurse, has a business. You're a RN. I don't know why she's playing small. She's a whole RN
Yes,
nurse.
I'm
Thank
a
you.
registered nurse.
And before we jump into the segment, what is it your specialty that you do in your nursing business?
Um, in the business, I specialized in post-op care. So people who've had surgery, I go and take care of them and make sure they have a smooth transition from the hospital.
Okay, listen. So if y'all know somebody and your family members just coming out the hospital, they looking for guidance or to be connected, definitely connect with Nurse Laiah. But we're gonna go ahead and hop into this interview for our parents. Now, my first question for you is, what has becoming a parent taught you about yourself? Before you answer that question, I want you to think about how you've grown since you first started being a parent, how you became stronger, or what have you discovered about yourself through this parenting journey with these three boys?
Um, I've discovered, for one, my strength, because it hasn't been easy. Even from the beginning, when I wasn't single, I had two under two. And with my first child, their father was also incarcerated when I was about 4 or 5 months pregnant. So I kind of always been in and out of singleness, even when I wasn't technically single. But I've just realized how strong I really am and how powerful that I can be.
Okay, so I love that. And then thank you for your transparency. So, even in this journey, like she discovered strength as well as knowing how powerful that she is, whether she was single with somebody else or not. So I love that because I know a lot of times as moms, we go into what they call like this mom guilt. We thinking that oh we're not strong enough, we can't do it. But for our listeners, I love this interview, and we're just getting started off the top. Single mom, three boys. As a black woman myself, I know it is not easy raising children, let alone black boys. So let's hop into our next question. Just gonna go right into it. When you hear the phrase "it takes a village," what does it mean to you? Kind of like who has been part of your village, and how have they supported you or your family along the way?
My family has been my village. Um, I don't have a lot of friends, don't have a lot of support from the kids' family. So my family, my mom, my siblings, grandparents, my family has been almost like the sole part of my village.
Now, okay, I know you said you don't have a lot of friends. Now, do you have people that wasn't necessarily blood related that was able to help you with your village, or just strictly blood related?
Um, I think it's mostly family. Maybe like if I think community wise, maybe like the people at the YMCA or like after school programs, but it was mainly my family.
And that's awesome. I'm glad you thought about the YMCA, because a lot of time I know when people think that being the village, it just has to be our blood. But in my own journey, I found that even though you can have family, that community, y'all, the community is also part of the village. So if you have a small family, and I know it may be some people on here, some parents may be like, listen, I don't have family, I don't have friends, I don't have a village. I want you to know, look in your community. Part of your community is your village, whether it's the teacher in the classroom that your child attend, whether it's that person in the church, whether it's a coworker, if you're out there working in the field, that's part of your village. And just learning
Hmm.
that it's okay to lean on those people. Not necessarily say you gotta like tell people all your business. Because I know like in the workplace, we're not trying to have those conversations.
Right.
But I want you to understand, and our listeners to understand, that not everybody have family. And you hear right from Leah, not everybody has friend support. So look around your community, because the community is part of the village. And thank you for sharing that. So my next question, because I know the listeners want to know. Now, parenting has many responsibilities. How do you balance raising these three boys and providing your own personal goals, your career goals, as well as your business goals? Now, you can break that apart however you want to.
Um, Honestly, I cannot give a straightforward answer because I haven't completely balanced it out yet. Something that helps me is scheduling, scheduling and calendars. So I try to designate specific times to work on my business or to do certain things to make sure that I get things done. But it's my schedule is very hectic, and it's still kind of hard to do everything that I need to do.
Okay, so basically what she said, yeah, I'm going to interpret it. What she said for y'all was that it may not necessarily be a balance. It may be a matter of counterbalancing. Like our personal life don't have to be on the same level as our business life. So what she has done, and this is a great strategy and a tip for the listeners, is having that calendar, having that schedule. And let me ask you another question off of that. So, do you use the same schedule for personal and business, or how do you put all those things on one calendar and know this is what I'm doing today, this is what I'm doing tomorrow?
Um, so I do. Most of the time, it's color coded. And then I try to have designated days. So a couple days might be designated to more hours in the business. A couple days might be designated to no business and more studying. A couple days might be certain times just one on one with the kids, or one day designated to all appointments all day long and nothing else. So it is on one calendar because I don't want to overlap something or sign up for something when I already have this responsibility. So I need everything on one calendar.
And that's a good
Then I
tip.
use the structured app to time it because even though the appointments are on the calendar, structured is a great app. Not sponsored, by the way, but they give you timers and alarms, and sometimes if it's a gap, it'll tell you like you have 50 minutes free. Make the most of it. So that's a great app.
Okay, yeah, I know she said, and I paying her for that. But that's a great resource. So definitely connect with Nurse Laiah if you want to know more about like how she can maybe help you even with the app. I don't know. I just quick question: do they give you tech support, or is just user friendly?
To me, it's user friendly, but I'm pretty sure they have tech support if you need it. And of course, it's AI supported now, so there's always that.
Okay. Now, this next question is one of my favorite questions I like to ask. Tell us about a parenting moment that still makes you smile. I think about my own kids as I ask the question. It don't have to be maybe a funny story or an achievement or just a simple every moment that you experience. I know you probably got some moment with three boys. Like,
I do. I'm
tell
gonna
the
give
people.
one. I'm gonna give one for each of them, starting with the oldest. So we were this was years ago. He was maybe like 5 or 6. We were in, I want to say like TJ Maxx or Home Goods something, shopping, and he was just yapping away. I don't even remember what he was talking about. And I'm just shopping and oh really? Just, paying attention while also doing what I need to do. So this lady came over from the next aisle, random person, and she was like, I was sitting there listening to your son from over there. You have a really awesome kid. And I couldn't do nothing but smile because he is really awesome. And I've heard that like from teachers, but like for a random person just listening to whatever he was talking about, to notice that for him, that just made me really proud.
And I'm smiling like it's my kid. And I can just imagine because I know sometimes and we be in our parenting mode, we may miss something or if we're working on something, we may not catch it. But to have
Hmm.
somebody that's on the outside, not in mama mode, that can hear that and then come up to you and tell you that, I know that made you proud. And I hope he is
Yes,
proud.
I
Kudos
did.
to him. Now tell us, come on, tell us about the next
Okay.
one. What you got?
My seer, my middle child, he's a very sweet boy. He makes me proud all the time. But when he got into gifted, that was a big moment for us because we all tried. But he was the one that he was just exceptional in all categories. So that was a very proud moment for me. And then all through the year, still straight A's and B's. So not only is he getting more challenging work, he's excelling in the more challenging work. So I'm so proud of him.
And that's good that even, and how old is he now?
He's turning 9 today, 4th of July.
Well, happy
So he was
birthday.
special from the beginning.
Yes, so even after your birthday, when this episode aired, just know that all the listeners, we wishing you a happy birthday and just congratulations on being that exceptional, holding it down, even with the challenging work. Because I know even gifted, they give the children like a harder work to make it more challenging so you're not sitting in the classroom as they like say, oh, I'm bored. If your
Yeah.
child is not bored, they just may need something more challenging. Now tell us about the baby boy. Come on.
Oh, the baby boy. He is one of one. Um, Everybody say he's been here before. He's just so like old timey. He is so creative. He's so thoughtful. Um, and I'm gonna give two moments for him because they both made me equally proud. So one was an interview that he did with DJ It Takes a Village. All his answers were like spot on. He answered it and then gave a little extra on the side, like he does. He's a talker, he's a Gemini, so he's definitely very verbal, very, I feel like this, very, hey, excuse me, to random people, just loud and out there. It's, the rest of us are kind of quiet and reserved, but not him. So that was a very proud moment, and I just saw him like shine. It's almost like he's a superstar when I think of him and how he reacts in his environment, how he goes everywhere and just makes friends. It's just like, this is a superstar here. That's what I call him, his nickname. But another moment, and I'm going to be transparent again. I was struggling with my oldest when he got into his preteen years. The little attitude and rolling of the eyes and comments and not doing everything he was supposed to do, and it was getting to me and I didn't know how to react. So I was just crying. I was crying. I was in my room just trying to play music to calm down, and I was just laying in the bed. And he came in there, um kissed me, rubbed my head, told me he loves me. He was playing the song Gracie's Corner, I Love My Mom. He was Googling ways to make your mom happy. And it was like the other kids, they were checking on me. They were just saying, knocking, are you okay? But his mind just like went above and beyond. And it's like, I just love how creative he is and how thoughtful and just how amazing he is as well. So those are very proud moments. I think about it all the time.
And I love that because even in just her kudos to your babies, like I'm smiling over here, y'all, like just knowing that even the youngest understand caring, compassionate, loving, like things like that take the time to figure out, okay, my mom's she look a little sad, look upset. Let me figure out a way to make her happy and then do that.
And he
What
was
kid
6
does
at the
that?
time. He was literally 6. So got his Chromebook from school and just Googled like ways to make my home at 6. So I was just so amazed, and it made me feel really good.
And I know you did. And listen, plain shameless plug. And yes, Makai was on this show. So go back and check our episodes out. I interviewed him. I think was it first grade? Was he first grade? Because he's going in third grade
I
now.
don't know, girl. It might have been first.
Okay. So we did an interview with him, and I just love it because he was just so raw, so transparent. And it was just okay, let's have a conversation. And I'm like, you know what, we're going to keep this because people need to know how our children think. So kudos to you and the babies and all that hashtag proud moments. And for my listeners, I don't even know that she even gave us a tip in this interview for moms because one of the things she said that when she wasn't feeling happy or a little stressed out, she went into a quiet place and she played music. Y'all, that was a self-care tip right there. I don't know if anybody else caught it, but even in this interview, she gave us even more value, not even knowing that she did. Somebody needs to know, like, what do I do? Like when I got this preteen, teenager, take a moment for yourself, find some music, go into a place. And if you have babies like Makai, he's just gonna really turn that whole vibe around, coming and showing you love. So I'm just so proud about that. My next question. Ooh, and I can see that you're probably already doing it, but the people don't know that you're doing it. So for the people out here that's watching this episode, what kind of legacy do you hope or are you working on to leave for your children?
um, I'm working on installing values in them, um, a work ethic, putting God first and following His plan for your life. I tell my son all the time he wants to be a YouTuber, and I encourage him like you can do this, but I also let him know like if it's in God's plan. I'm working in my business to try to become a millionaire, to leave them money behind as well as the values. And at the end of the day, I kind of want a family compound. So we all gonna live on like the same big property. All of us gonna have our individual houses, maybe a store, maybe a farm. So I'm just basically, when I'm gone, I want them to remember what kind of mom I was, what I did for them, and what values I installed in them.
That's good, and they're so young now, and I'm pretty sure that being how they are so smart and educated, those values that you're installing them, it's gonna take them far, and I can see it already. And I have another little shameless. It ain't shameless. I have another little plug. She already got a legacy, y'all. I don't know why she's downplaying. She already has another legacy that she created, and I don't have it in front of me, and I wish I did. But make sure you connect with her. She's a whole author. I don't even think she mentioned that in her introduction.
I did not.
Yes, she's a co-author of an amazing book called Love Doesn't Hurt. And I know that even with this segment on parenting with a purpose, that's also a great tool, a great resource. We're not even going to tell you about the book, but that's the title, Love Doesn't Hurt. Connect with her. That's a legacy when she's no longer here. Her boys, her grandkids, great great grandkids, they can always pick that book up and they will always be able to hear her story. Okay? So, yeah, I want to put that out there because you didn't put it out there. I threw it out there for you.
Oh, I forgot.
But we almost done, but not quite done yet. So I know we talked a little bit about this. What are some of the most important values that you intentionally teach your children? I know you mentioned some, but if you can give maybe some examples about like kindness, respect, perseverance, honesty, or even giving back, if you want to expand on.
Um, Definitely kindness, and service, acts of service. Just because the way that we learn in this house and the way that I like to lead is for us to be like Jesus Christ. So I show them like Jesus was kind, but I also show them like, okay, but you see he had boundaries. you know, um he does for people, but he also takes time for himself. When he went off and he goes off to the river and pray and just, do things on his own. Um Definitely honesty is something that we're working on. Um but I try to instill honesty in them, and I'm always honest with them. I told them I don't know where they get that from because it's hard for me to tell a lie. It don't even it don't even feel right or sound right. But definitely that. Also, um, respecting their self as well as others. I do teach them. I know it's going out the window nowadays, but you should give respect in order to get it. And there are certain people that you should respect off the top, but also not to take disrespect. Um, and just teaching them to stand up for themselves, knowing what kind of values they're going to develop, what kind of friends they like. Um, that's pretty much the basis of it.
So that's good because I know even still having kids myself as
Your sound.
did our sound go out?
Yeah, it got lower. I can still hear you, but it's just very low.
Okay, what happened? Let's hope that my listeners can still hear me. But I know even with that respect, that's a big one because there's so much going on even in the school systems with children in the neighborhood. Like you have to teach your children respect, and at the same time, you want to make sure that your child is not a child that takes disrespect. We're not saying teach your kids to go out and do these things, but at the same time, you want to instill in your children enough courage, which goes back to courage, being able to stand up for yourself. So I love those values, and I know that they're definitely going to take my part. So back to our interview. So my next question says, I'm gonna actually just give me maybe when we often hear about you can't pour from an empty cup. In your perspective, what does self care look like for you as a parent? Not the business owner, but for as a parent.
Um, Quiet time and prayer sometimes. Um, Singing and dancing in my mirror. Mm, and then sometimes, if it's a special occasion, I'll do like a self care trip, or a self care retreat, something special like that. But around here, something small that I could do every day is always pray and dance. So those are easy. Don't have to think about them.
Right. I know I love dancing, honey. Child. Yes. And sometimes people don't even think about that. That's self care. Like the thing that make you feel good inside, and you can just do it, no effort. That's taking care of you from the inside out, and I love that. And I don't know, y'all. It sounds quiet over there today with those three boys. So today seems like a self care day because it's awfully quiet.
And what I want to tell your listeners, if y'all don't know, that you hold trauma in your hips. So the more that you dance, it makes you feel good, but you're also releasing at the same time. So get out there, shake them hips, and dance.
Y'all see that this parent is just bringing us extra value even in this interview. And right now, she's the expert because she's a whole RN nurse. And this is not just, oh, a mom saying shake your hips, honey. This is like a whole medical professional right here. And thank you for that nugget. So maybe I'm gonna have to dance a little bit more. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So to encourage a parent, let's say we have somebody just run across this interview and they're feeling overwhelming, or they may even be questioning their role as a parent. What would you say to them? As I want you to talk to them as if you're talking to them directly. You have another parent that say, "I'm overwhelmed. I can't do this anymore. I just can't do it anymore." What is one thing that you say to this parent? And I want you to look straight into your camera and tell that parent this one thing or whatever you want to tell them.
Um, Take a deep breath and pray. And I know a lot of people, they think negatively and they think it's dismissive, but it's not. So you pray to get the guidance, and then you always take action. When people say pray about it, they're not being dismissive. They just want you to get a download from the source. And then you have to just sit back and listen. You have to hear what to do next because parenting is overwhelming. But as many books as I've read from the time I was pregnant with my first until last week, nobody has all the answers. No one thing works for even all three kids. So you just have to keep trying. Every day you have to show up, you have to try something new, and then you have to give yourself grace. I'm sure you give grace to everybody else. If you're like me, it's easy to forgive somebody else, or it's easy to, oh, say that's okay and move on. But when it comes to yourself, you have to extend yourself that same grace and more. Um, and communicate with your kids. If they're old enough, they might understand to like, let me give mommy a second because she's overwhelmed. And I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, I'm overstimulated. I need y'all to sit down for a few minutes. You're doing too much. Um, go put some cold water on, or I need to go put some cold water on my face. But you just have to communicate, voice your needs to the father and to the kids, and use your village. DJ, it takes a village is about the bottom line, use your village. I know me, I was a person where I didn't want my kids going everywhere. Um, I didn't want to be without them for such amount of time. But use your village because at the end of the day, they're going to be fine and you're going to be fine. They're not going to remember, oh, I was at my grandma's house every weekend. Like, it's probably going to be good things that they're going to remember, not my mom didn't, my mom couldn't handle us. So, like, sometimes we think the worst things and it's really never that serious. It's never as serious as you think it is. So, always pray, take a deep breath, think, and reset and try again. Every day that you wake up, every day that your kids wake up, it's a chance to try again. So give yourself grace.
And that's good. I don't know if y'all watched the previous episode, Parenting with a Purpose. I think even on that one, I talked about grace. Like, we give grace for everything, but if it comes down to ourselves as parents, a lot of times we don't want to give ourselves grace. And this is just confirmation that she said the same thing about the grace. So if you missed it the first time, I hope you caught it this time. And go in that quiet space. I believe she said to pray. Don't just pray and get up. Just sit quiet, see what God said. He's going to direct you. Because I repeated that grace part again because when you were saying it, our thing chopped up. So I know that somebody somewhere needed to hear that. So I wanted to make sure
Um,
I said it again because somebody somewhere needs to give their self grace. And I love that. And one more question. Years from now, what do you hope that your children remember about the way you loved and raised them? Now think about not just what you did, but how you made them feel.
um, I want them to think of me as love, not to give love, not receive love, but as love. When they think of me, I want them to think of smiles and tender kisses and support and encouragement and everything that we would think love is. Kind, patient. I want them to think of me as love. And I want them to use that to know how to love others.
That's powerful. And that's God, y'all. God is love, kind, patient. So I think leaving that behind, that's impact and legacy all in itself. So I thank you so much. And I don't know why this thing is trying to chop up, because these are real values that people need to hear from real people that's actually living this. And like she said, that parenting is not a one size fits all. Even though you can have one, two, three kids, you can't raise them all the same way. Like each child is gonna need something different. And I would say that means meet your child where they are and give them all the love that you can. Give them the grace for not only for them, but grace for yourself as their parent. Take the breaks that you need. And I think at the end of the day, just to reflect on that moment that made you so proud on those hard days. You're like, I cannot believe this child doing this. You know what? I remember when. So just always focus on that good, that positive. Let's not focus on what they didn't do. Let's
Mm-hmm.
focus on the thing that they did. And I believe that's going to help us in this journey of parenting. And to know that you have a village. Like, connect with DJ. It takes a village. If you like, hey, I don't have nobody, I don't have no connect with us. Connect with us. We have connections with so many parentings, so many different walks of life. And I believe that we can have something for everybody, whether it's just a tip, whether it's just a listening ear, you just want us to be quiet and listen, whether you need somebody to say, hey, let's just journal for 5 minutes. I'm gonna call you, you call me, we're gonna mute our phone, we're gonna journal, or just somebody to share a dance to get them hips moving, get that trauma out them hips. Or whether it's just, hey, this is a great inspirational song, you may want to play it.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so I thank you so much, Nurse Laiah, for coming. And before we end out, can you give us one way that the listeners can reach out to you, whether they want to reach out to you for your nursing business, to know more about you as a nurse, to know more about, girl, how you parenting these three boys? How can the people reach out to you? Do you have an email or social media?
Um, you guys can reach out to me. I'll give you two ways. The first is by email, Nurselayla, Layla at nursemywayy.com. And the second is on Instagram, Nurse My Way with two Y's. So Nurse My WAYY.
And we'll drop it in the bio so people can make sure they got it, because I don't know if they were writing it down or not. But thank you so much, Nurse Laiah, and we appreciate you being a guest on our show. Until next time.
Till next time. Bye.
So my closing thought for this segment is, for one, I wanted to say thank Nurse Laiah for coming on this journey, sharing with us, not just as a mom, but as a single mom with three amazing boys. If you would like to be a guest on our next show, please definitely contact us just by going to www.dejourvillage.com. Until next time. My name is DeShonda Jennings, and I teach aspiring and current home-based childcare business owners ways to sustain and grow their childcare business. What separates me from others that's doing what I currently do is not only am I teaching others how to do it, I actually do this Monday through Friday on a day-to-day basis. And another thing, by doing this for over 20 years experience that I bring to family child care specifically, is I learned how to identify revenue gaps in my business. And by identifying those revenue gaps, I was able to grow my business and sustain it at 6 figures. The reason why you should bring me on as a speaker at your next event is because I am an expert when it comes down to family child care businesses. I'm able to identify with parents, because I too am a parent, have kids, elementary school, middle school, as well as high school. So when it comes down to understanding what development look like and I'm carrying on the child care trends, meaning that I don't do things the old way. We do things as research progress. I'm doing this so I know like what research has changed from how we did things a year ago or 2 years ago. And bringing me on, I'm able to show that, listen, not only am I advocating for what I believe, right? I'm able to see the parents on a daily basis. I understand what it looks like not to be able to afford childcare. I understand why it's so important for, people to invest in childcare, because if we don't invest in childcare, there is no business. It's because we are the ones to make it to where other families can go out and work, where our big corporates can go out and work, our doctors and our lawyers. If you have kids, they need us. So you should bring me on to speak at your next event, because I'm doing this on a daily basis. I see the families. I know how this is important to them. My favorite quote is, "Too much is given, much is required." And that comes from Luke 12:48 in the King James Version. And what that quote means to me is, when God gives us skills, talents, and abilities, it's not just for us. Like, we have to take those skills to help grow the kingdom of God. And it's not always easy, but if He gave you that gift, He gave you that skill, He's also going to give you the provision to play out that vision that He has for you.